The season finale of BMF Season 4 was pure chaos, betrayal, and power moves. Every decision had consequences, every alliance was tested, and by the end of episode 10, nothing will ever be the same. This wasn't just another episode, it was the one that set the stage for everything to come. If you thought you could predict the ending, you were wrong. Episode 10 doesn't just open like a regular chapter, it feels like the calm before a storm that's been brewing all season long. Going into this finale, fans knew there were too many unresolved issues hanging in the air. Meech and Terry have been playing a dangerous game with both the streets and the law closing in. Every choice they made in episode 9 came with heavy risks, and those risks finally start to pay off or backfire right here in episode 10. From the very first moments, there's tension. You can almost feel that something big is about to happen. The writers didn't waste time reminding us of the stakes. Meech is fighting to expand his empire and protect his family, while Terry is stuck between ambition and loyalty. They've been tested all season long, and now we see whether those cracks in their brotherhood are going to hold or completely shatter. One of the smartest things about this finale is how it picks up threads from earlier in the season and weaves them together. Every side deal, every betrayal, every uneasy truce, it all comes back around. Remember how episode 9 ended with so many unanswered questions? Who could be trusted? Which alliances would break? Well, episode 10 wastes no time showing us the fallout. The very first scenes already start pushing characters to their breaking points. And it's not just about Meech and Terry. The family angle plays a massive role in this finale. The Flannerys have always been caught between love and survival. And in episode 10, those family bonds get tested like never before. You see parents struggling with the decisions their sons have made. You see friends questioning loyalty. And you see enemies who know this is their final chance to strike. That mix of personal and business drama is what gives BMF its edge. And this finale cranks it all the way up. The setup also makes clear that there's no easy way out. Meech and Terry are not just fighting for money, they're fighting for survival. The cops are closer than ever. The streets are boiling with tension, and trust is in short supply. The writers make sure the audience feels that pressure. By the time the first act is over, you know this episode is not going to let anyone walk away untouched. Another thing worth pointing out is how the tone is set visually and emotionally. Every shot feels heavy. Every conversation feels like it's carrying hidden meaning. Even the quieter scenes are loaded with suspense because you know someone's next move could flip the entire story upside down. That sense of urgency is what hooks the audience right away and keeps them locked in. So, Section 1 is all about planting seeds for what's about to explode. Episode 10 doesn't just recap old conflicts, it sharpens them. Meech is making moves with confidence, but that confidence could also be his downfall. Terry is trying to hold on to his place in the empire, but he's also weighed down by fear and doubt. Together, they're stepping into the biggest test of their lives, and the finale wastes no time reminding us that nothing comes without a cost. By the end of the setup, viewers already know this finale isn't going to be about survival alone. It's about legacy, loyalty, and whether blood really is thicker than water. The chessboard is set, the pieces are moving, and the game is about to change forever. The real heart of episode 10 lies in how the story unravels beat by beat. The writers clearly wanted the finale to feel like a pressure cooker that finally explodes. Let's break down the key moments that shape the entire episode. The opening scenes pull us back into the streets, where Meech makes his first big move of the night. He knows the finale isn't about small wins, it's about claiming his place at the top. Right away, we see him making a risky play, bringing together people who have been both friends and enemies throughout the season. It's bold, it's dangerous, and it sets the tone. This isn't business as usual. Meech is either going to rise higher than ever before, or burn everything down trying. Terry, on the other hand, is already walking on thin ice. his arc in. This episode is less about boldness and more about survival. He's watching his brother push harder and harder, and deep down, he's questioning whether the empire they built can even last. You can hear that fear in his words. You can see it in his eyes. While Meech thrives on risk, Terry carries the weight of consequences. This contrast between the two brothers drives much of the tension in the finale. Asterisk as the episode progresses, conflicts that have been simmering all season finally explode. Old enemies come back into play, some trying to strike one last blow against the Flannery brothers, others simply trying to survive themselves. Betrayals that were hinted at earlier in the season come full circle here, and the payoff is worth it. Every betrayal feels personal, and every twist is timed to hit the audience when they least expect it. Asterisk, one of the standout sequences in the middle of the episode is the confrontation between Meech and one of his biggest rivals. This isn't just about territory, it's about power, respect, and who really runs Detroit. The dialogue here is sharp and heavy, every word carrying the weight of years of tension. When the confrontation finally breaks into action, it's explosive. The choreography, the intensity, the way it's shot, it feels less like television and more like cinema. This moment alone could have been the climax, but in true BMF fashion, it's only one of many turning points. Asterisk another thread running through. The episode is the law. The police presence in episode 10 is stronger than ever, and the pressure is undeniable. The feds are circling, and the show makes sure we know they're closing in fast. There are scenes where you can almost feel Meech and Terry's empire slipping through their fingers as the walls close around them. It's not just about avoiding street rivals anymore, it's about surviving a system that has been building its case all season long. Asterisk, but the most shocking moments come from the personal betrayals. Friends who seemed loyal reveal hidden agendas. Family members reach breaking points. Trust, which has always been fragile in this show, is shattered in ways that feel permanent. These betrayals don't just hurt Meech and Terry's business, they cut deep into the heart of their personal lives. That's what makes them sting the most. Asterisk midway through the episode, the stakes rise even higher when a major loss hits the brothers' circle. Without spoiling every detail, this moment is devastating and changes the tone completely. The energy shifts from ambition and power to grief and desperation. You realize the finale isn't just about building an empire, it's about how much you have to lose along the way. This emotional punch gives the second half of the episode incredible weight. Asterisk by the time we reach the later acts, Meech is standing firm, trying to hold everything together. But you can see the cracks forming. Terry is torn between backing his brother and protecting what little stability he has left. Every decision feels final. Every move feels like it could be the last. The tension is relentless, and the writers keep pushing it higher and higher until you can barely catch your breath. Asterisk, and then come the twists. Just when you think you know how things will play out, episode 10 drops moments that flip everything upside down. Deals that seemed secure fall apart. Characters you thought were safe end up in danger. Power shifts in ways no one could have predicted. These twists are the kind that make you sit up, rewind, and rewatch just to make sure you didn't miss anything. Asterisk by the time the dust settles, it's clear. Episode 10 wasn't just about telling a story, it was about shaking the entire foundation of BMF. Nothing feels safe anymore, and no one feels untouchable. This finale leaves you with that rare mix of satisfaction and hunger. You get answers, yes, but you're left with even bigger questions about what comes next. Asterisk, if the finale of BMF Season 4 proves anything, it's that the strength of the show lies not just in the action, but in the characters who drive it. Every main player gets their moment in episode 10, and the way their arcs collide creates a finale that feels both heartbreaking and unforgettable. Asterisk, let's start with Meech. In this episode, Meech embodies everything fans have come to expect. From him, ambition, charisma, and an unshakable belief in his vision. But what's powerful here is how much that belief costs him. From the start of the finale, you see a man who refuses to back down, no matter the odds. He's pushing harder than ever to expand his empire, making moves that most people wouldn't even dare to consider. Meech thrives on pressure, and episode 10 shows him at his boldest. Asterisk, but underneath that confidence, there's also a sense of isolation. You can feel that the more power he chases, the more distance he puts between himself and the people he loves. This is what makes Meech such a compelling character. He's a leader, yes, but also a man constantly at risk of losing himself to the game. In the finale, every victory comes with a shadow. Every bold move carries the weight of sacrifice. By the end of the episode, you're left wondering whether Meech is building a legacy or digging a grave. Asterisk. Then there's Terry, who might be the most emotionally complex character in this finale. If Meech is all about risk and expansion, Terry is the opposite. He's about caution, about trying to hold on to something real while the empire grows unstable around him. In episode 10, Terry feels like a man caught in a trap of his own making. He wants the success, but he also wants safety. He wants loyalty, but he's haunted by betrayal. Watching Terry navigate this tightrope is one of the most gripping parts of the finale. Asterisk, what stands out about Terry's journey here is how human it feels. While Meech operates almost like a legend in the making, Terry's story is more grounded in fear, doubt, and vulnerability. He's the brother who sees the cracks in the empire and knows how fragile everything really is. In some ways, Terry becomes the emotional anchor of the finale, the one character who forces the audience to think about the real cost of ambition. Asterisk, but the spotlight doesn't stop with the brothers. The supporting characters bring their own fire to episode 10. Lamar, for example, continues to be one of the most unpredictable forces in the show. Every time he's on screen, the tension skyrockets because you know he could go off at any second. In the finale, Lamar's presence reminds us of the chaos lurking in the background of Meech and Terry's empire. He's the kind of character who doesn't need long monologues, just his existence is enough to shake things up. Asterisk, on the law enforcement side, the feds play a much bigger role in this episode. They're not just background noise anymore, they're predators circling the empire. Episode 10 gives us glimpses of their strategy, their determination, and how close they really are to taking everything away from the Flannery brothers. What makes this interesting is how the law doesn't just feel like an external threat, it feels like fate closing in. It's the inevitable consequence of everything Meech and Terry have built, and the finale doesn't let us forget that. Asterisk, the family dynamic also shines in this finale. The Flannery parents, who have always been torn between love and disappointment, play a crucial role in showing the emotional stakes. Their pain and frustration make the story hit harder because it's not just about business, it's about blood, about parents watching their sons walk deeper into danger. Those family moments may not be the loudest scenes, but they carry some of the heaviest emotional weight. Asterisk, and let's not forget the secondary players in the crew, friends, partners, and allies who stand with the brothers or turn against them. Episode 10 makes it clear that loyalty is a rare commodity, and the way these characters choose sides shapes the finale's most shocking moments. Some characters rise to the occasion, proving their worth when it matters most. Others reveal cracks in their loyalty, leaving fans speechless as hidden agendas come to light. Asterisk, what's brilliant about the character writing in this finale is that no one feels one-dimensional. Even the villains have depth. Even the side characters carry weight. Everyone's choices matter, and every character feels like they're fighting their own private war. Whether it's for power, respect, survival, or love, the motivations driving these people make the finale feel real, messy, and unforgettable. Asterisk, by the end of episode 10, you're not just left thinking about the plot twists, you're thinking about the people. You're thinking about Meech's hunger, Terry's fear, Lamar's chaos, the family's heartbreak, and the crew's shifting loyalties. That's what makes this finale so powerful. It's not just about what happened, it's about who it happened to, and how those people will carry the scars into the next season. Asterisk if episode 10 gave us anything, it was a masterclass in how to end a season with suspense. The finale doesn't tie everything up neatly, instead, it rips the story wide open. The cliffhangers hit hard, and every single one points directly toward the chaos waiting in Season 5. Let's break down the big setups. Asterisk first, there's the brotherhood between Meech and Terry. From the very beginning of BMF, the strength of the show has been built on the bond between these two. But in the finale, we see cracks that may be too deep to ignore. Terry's doubts are stronger than ever, and Meech's hunger for power only makes the divide worse. The episode ends with the sense that the brothers are standing together physically, but emotionally, they might be drifting further apart than ever. That lingering tension feels like the seed for Season 5's central conflict. Can the Empire survive if its foundation brotherhood starts to crumble? Asterisk then there's the law closing in. Throughout Season 4, the feds have been tightening their grip, gathering evidence, and watching the brothers' every move. By the end of episode 10, it's clear that Meech and Terry's world is on borrowed time. We see hints of sealed indictments, undercover plays, and informants lurking in the shadows. The cliffhanger doesn't show the hammer dropping just yet, but it makes one thing clear: Season 5 could be the season where the law finally collides head-on with the Empire. And when that happens, it won't just be about survival. It'll be about who flips, who runs, and who stands tall when everything collapses. Asterisk a third major setup comes from the betrayals revealed in episode 10. Without spoiling every face behind the betrayal, let's just say this: the finale shows us that loyalty in the BMF universe is paper-thin. Characters we thought we could trust turned out to have hidden agendas. Some of those betrayals are exposed in this finale, but others are only hinted at, leaving the audience questioning who else could be playing both sides. That uncertainty is a perfect cliffhanger. It leaves fans guessing all off-season about who will be friend and who will be foe when the story picks back up. Asterisk, and let's not forget about Lamar. His presence in the finale was chaotic and unpredictable, but the real cliffhanger is what role he'll play moving forward. He's not the kind of character you can just sweep off the board. He lingers, like a storm waiting to strike again. Season 5 could easily make Lamar an even bigger threat, or twist his arc in a completely unexpected direction. Either way, the finale makes it clearer: Lamar is far from finished. Asterisk the family dynamic also leaves us with a heavy cliffhanger. By the end of episode 10, the Flannery parents are at a breaking point. Their love for their sons is still there, but so is the pain, the fear, and the frustration. The question hanging in the air is simple but powerful: can this family survive when the world around them is falling apart? Season 5 could dive even deeper into that struggle, showing how the family fractures or fights to stay together under impossible circumstances. Asterisk another setup that fans can't ignore is the future of the Empire itself. In episode 10, Meech and Terry made moves that expanded their reach but also attracted more heat than ever. The finale closes with the sense that the Empire is bigger, louder, and more dangerous than before. But empires don't just grow, they eventually collapse. The cliffhanger here is not whether BMF will keep rising, but how long it can stay on top before everything comes crashing down. That question is going to drive Season 5 in a big way. Asterisk and finally, the emotional cliffhangers are just as strong as the plot ones. Who will the brothers trust after the betrayals? Who will survive the growing war between the streets and the law? Who will sacrifice themselves for the Empire? And who will turn their back on it? Episode 10 doesn't give us those answers, it just leaves us hanging in the tension, knowing that every character is standing on a knife's edge. Asterisk the genius of this finale is that it doesn't feel like an ending, it feels like a doorway. By the time the credits roll, you're not thinking about closure, you're thinking about possibilities. You're imagining how Season 5 could open, who might make a shocking return, who might flip sides, and how the brothers will face their toughest test yet. That's the mark of a great season finale. It makes you desperate for the next chapter. Asterisk so. When fans talk about episode 10, they're not just talking about what happened, they're talking about what might happen. They're building theories, predicting betrayals, debating who'll rise and who'll fall. And that's exactly what the writers wanted. Season 5 isn't just around the corner, it's already living in the minds of fans, thanks to the way Episode 10 ended. Asterisk when the credits rolled on BMF season for Episode 10, one thing became crystal clear. This wasn't just a season finale, it was a statement. It was the writers telling us that the world of BMF is bigger, darker, and more unpredictable than we imagined. And as a finale, it didn't just deliver, it exceeded expectations. Let's break down why this episode hit so hard and what made it stand out as one of the most powerful chapters in the series so far. Asterisk first off, the storytelling in this finale deserves credit. Throughout Season 4, the writers built tension piece by piece. Every conflict, every betrayal, every uneasy alliance, it all stacked like dominoes. Episode 10 is where those dominoes finally fell, and the result was explosive. What made it work so well is that it never felt rushed. The finale gave every storyline room to breathe, while still keeping the pace tight enough to feel urgent. That balance is rare, and it's what made this episode so satisfying. Asterisk. The pacing is another area where the finale shines. From the opening moments, you feel the weight of what's coming. The first act sets the stage with quiet tension, reminding us of the stakes. Then the middle act explodes with action, betrayal, and heartbreak, and finally, the last act hits us with those unforgettable twists and cliffhangers. The rhythm of the episode pulls you in and refuses to let go. It's the kind of storytelling that makes you want to sit in silence afterward, just processing what you watched. Asterisk on a character level, this episode gave us some of the most powerful performances of the season. Meech carried the weight of ambition, confidence, and sacrifice in a way that made every scene feel larger than life. Terry grounded the story with vulnerability, showing us the cost of the empire in a more personal way. And the supporting cast brought so much depth that no moment felt wasted. Even characters with smaller screen time left a mark, reminding us how layered the world of BMF really is. Asterisk, but maybe the biggest strength of this finale is how it balanced emotion with action. Yes, we got the shootouts, the confrontations, the shocking betrayals, but we also got the quieter moments that cut just as deep. Family conflicts, moments of grief, private conversations between brothers, these are the scenes that hit hardest. They remind us that BMF isn't just about the empire, it's about the people building it, breaking it, and living in the shadow of it. Asterisk when it comes to standout scenes, there are a few that fans will be talking about for a long time. The mid-episode confrontation between Meech and his rival felt like a cinematic showdown, both in its intensity and its stakes. The devastating loss in the crew shifted the entire energy of the episode, leaving both the characters and the audience reeling. And of course, the final twists in the closing act, those are the moments that made just drop and made people start counting the days until Season 5. Asterisk now, if we're being honest, no episode is perfect. Some fans might say that a few storylines could have been fleshed out more, or that certain character choices came out of nowhere. But here's the thing, in a finale built on tension, unpredictability, and chaos, those sharp turns actually work. They keep the story messy in the best way possible because the world of BMF has never been clean or predictable. Asterisk overall, my reaction to this finale is simple. It delivered everything I wanted and more. It gave closure to some arcs, opened new doors for Season 5, and kept the energy high from start to finish. It's the kind of episode that rewards loyal fans while also raising the stakes for anyone just jumping into the series. Asterisk on a scale of 1 to 10, this finale is easily a 9.5. It had the tension, the twists, the heartbreak, and the spectacle. More importantly, it left me thinking about the characters long after the episode ended. That's the sign of great storytelling. It sticks with you. It makes you feel, and it makes you want more. Asterisk as a season as a whole, Season 4 took big risks, and episode 10 proves those risks paid off. It expanded the scope of the story, deepened the characters, and set the stage for an even bigger and darker season 5. This wasn't just a finale, it was a promise. A promise that the story of Meech Terry and the empire they built is far from over. Asterisk, and that's why episode 10 stands out. It's not just the end of a chapter, it's the spark for the next fire. Asterisk, and just like that, BMF season 4 comes to a close. Episode 10 gave us betrayal, heartbreak, triumph, and cliffhangers that fans will be debating until the next season drops. This finale wasn't just about tying up loose ends, it was about pulling the rug out from under us, showing us that in this world, nothing is promised and no one is untouchable. Asterisk, what makes this ending so powerful is that it didn't just wrap up a story, it cracked the door wide open for season 5. We are left with more questions than answers. Will Meech and Terry's bond hold, or will ambition finally split them apart? Can the empire survive the weight of betrayal and law enforcement closing in? And who will rise or fall when the game changes yet again? These are the kinds of questions that keep the BMF fanbase buzzing between seasons. Asterisk, as viewers, we're not just watching characters, we're watching legacies being built and destroyed in real time. That's what makes BMF unique. It's not just a show about the streets. It's about family, about loyalty, about ambition, and about how fragile all of those things become when money and power enter the picture. Season 4 episode 10 captured all of that in one explosive finale, and now we're left counting the days until season 5. Asterisk, but here's the real power of a finale like this. It doesn't just end the season, it hands the story over to the fans. Right now, people are already building theories. Some believe Terry is going to make moves against Meech. Others think Lamar is coming back stronger than ever. Some think the law is finally going to dismantle the empire in season 5. And then, there are fans who believe a completely new threat is going to rise. The writers gave us just enough to keep us guessing, but not enough to let us rest easy. That's the mark of a great season finale. It keeps the conversation alive long after the episode ends. Asterisk, now, if you've been following my breakdowns, you know I always like to end with one question. What did this finale mean to you? Did it live up to your expectations? Did it shock you? Did it make you cheer, cry, or sit in silence? Because that's the beauty of a finale like this, it hits everyone differently. Some people focus on the action, others on the emotion, others on the setup for the next season. That's what makes the conversation so exciting. Asterisk, so here's where I turn it over to you. Drop your thoughts, theories, and reactions in the comments. Who was the MVP of the finale? Which betrayal cut the deepest? And what do you think season 5 is going to bring to the table? Let's keep this discussion going, because BMF is the kind of show that deserves more than just one watch. It deserves a community of fans breaking it all down together. Asterisk, if you enjoyed this recap and breakdown, don't forget to hit that like button. It lets me know you're rocking with this kind of content. And if you want to stay locked in for every new breakdown, every theory video, and every update as we move closer to season 5, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. That way, you'll never miss the next deep dive. Asterisk, and trust me, when season 5 drops, we're going to be right back here breaking down every twist, every betrayal, and every win the brothers fight for. Because if this finale showed us anything, it's that the story is far from over. The empire is still standing, but for how long? Asterisk, until then, keep your eyes open, keep your theories sharp, and keep the conversation alive. This has been the recap for BMF Season 4 Episode 10, the season finale that left us speechless. The empire continues in Season 5 and I'll be here to break down every single moment with you. Asterisk.